Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Thank you for giving me opportunity to present the work at LUMS on electric vehicles for the AB 2022 meeting. So perhaps some of you remember that we have been working on the electric vehicle policy since its inception. And during all the incentives that came with it, we were part of it during all that years. And now the challenge for us is to make sure that the policy that we make is not just go to another policy and in fact it becomes something of a success rather than just a waste of paper. So our efforts can be divided into two parts. One is technology and entrepreneurship in the EV domain, and other one is continuous policy improvement and advocacy. So we developed an integrated EV value chain at LUMS, and we presented it last year as well. And this EV value chain consists of six partners that are coming from various technology backgrounds. Some of these companies are older companies that are already working in Pakistan that are on the right, and some of the companies that we have to spin off from LUMS, which is an effort of LUMS Energy Institute and other wider LUMS community. So New Watt and New Board are two companies that will be, in fact, they have started their operation, but they will be launching their pilot project in the next couple of months. So we currently have about 50 vehicles that we are going to be piloting with, along with the swappable batteries. And this pilot is going to be launched in February, March. There are various phases of the pilot, and we are all set to launch this pilot in the next couple of months. We already have preparation. Some of the vehicles that we are going to be trying out are already ready. These are on the top left side. You see the swapping stations that are manufactured in Korea. But the good news is that some of the firmware and all of the software is developed by our group in Pakistan. But what I would like to tell you more is that what has been our experience in setting up a hardware infrastructure. What we think is developing a hardware infrastructure in Pakistan is like a labyrinth where we don't know where we are. And although we know we want to go, but there are a lot of dead ends and roadblocks. And in our interaction, we have been interacting with almost maybe a dozen regulatory bodies that are all we need to fulfill their requirements. Some of the requirements are not clear. Some of the requirements are not there because EV is a new thing. And in future, we expect about, in total, 25, 26 plus entities that we have to somehow interact with. This makes it a pretty interesting venture because more than the technology, we are learning how to start a hardware company. And during this quest, what we have developed is a 369 rule of startups in Pakistan that if, let's say, if we develop a startup in the US or Europe, for a typical software startup, maybe the effort is just multiplied by 3. For a hardware-based startup, it's multiplied by 6. And for a hardware plus mobility, which means that the hardware has to run on road, the effort is almost 9 times. And these are the effort that is other than technology, other than the technology barriers or the new business models we are making. They are just interacting with the government and getting the different permissions. And that's why the area of hardware startups in Pakistan, in particularly EVs, is almost dry. There are 1,000 EV startups in India. There are 600 in China. If in Pakistan, I try to count, maybe it's difficult for me to reach even the count of 10 in how many startups are there. So with this startup, what we are looking at, or this consortium, or this whole effort we are looking at, is to create a successful blueprint for a hardware plus mobility startup. We would really like our startup to be an open source startup, which means that other people can get benefit from it. And we would like more people and more companies and more venture capital and more entrepreneurs to venture into this area. So this has been the technology and entrepreneurship side. We have also been working with the government, also through funding agencies, on policy and advocacy. And this is an interesting work that we did for a charging infrastructure development in Pakistan, because the challenge is that if we develop charging infrastructure in Pakistan, where to start with? In fact, this is the challenge that almost every country is facing. So this is a year-long effort that culminated into a report that we released on the World Environment Day in 2021. And this gives out in a blueprint for charging infrastructure locations across Pakistan. The results that we found were amazing. That in the start, if we just have charging locations at 16 locations across the country, we can connect the top 20 most populous cities of Pakistan. Just 16 locations and 20 cities will be connected. It means that people are able to travel to these cities, across these cities, between any city pair, without the need of or without the problem of charging, if we have the charging locations set up at these locations. After that, we suggest another 85 locations on the two major networks of Pakistan. One is the highway network, which is N5, and other is the motorway network. Beyond that, we have also worked with USAID. USAID graciously sponsored one of our report on electric vehicles and batteries market assessment in Pakistan, where we interviewed almost 80 plus companies, individuals, government folks to come up of what is the current snapshot of EVs in Pakistan. And that includes battery opportunities, EVs and battery opportunities, the factors that will make EVs successful in Pakistan, opportunities in the short, medium, and long term. And if somebody would like to venture into Pakistan in terms of a business opportunity, what are the successful startup models? Both of these reports are available at our LUMS Energy Institute website and can be accessed. Beyond this, we have been engaging with various entities. We just won a project from the Punjab Energy Efficiency and Conservation Agency on the electric vehicle actualization plan in Punjab. So we want to now, from the government, we are now hired to make a plan for EV penetration in the province of Punjab, which is the largest province. And if EVs are penetrated here, then it will make a lot of difference. So we are really eagerly looking forward to do that project. Another project that we are currently doing is to start an EV charging infrastructure pilot project. This is spearheaded by Hyundai Research Institute and Ministry of Climate Change. It is funded by Korea Energy Agency. Then with a bunch of government agency, like with NEPRA, we are looking at EV tariff design. We are looking at with Provincial Excise and Taxation Department of how to have different regimes for registration of electric vehicles, buses, electric buses with the Provincial Transport Department. We are again working with the Punjab Transport Department with on the standardization of three-wheelers, because that's something that we are working on, and the standardization is badly needed for this. Without that, it won't be able to register. So we are working with the provincial departments on that. Then we are working with a few companies like Total and Z Solar and Tesla Industries. This is not the Tesla Motors. This is an even older company that is now installing charging infrastructure in Pakistan, and we are helping them, interacting with them to find out best locations for their charging points. So this has been the work that is going on. It is exciting and entering into an exciting area when we will be launching our pilot project. And we hope to continue this work and make sure that we are able to create not only a fast penetration of EVs, but LUMS also contribute towards a EV technology value chain in the country. So thank you. We look forward to the discussion during the EV meeting. Thank you.